we'll just get together when you're down on the 31st or whatever.
We're recording still.
All right.
Always have to have a backup.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so
I'm talking a bit.
So we weren't able to video record. The GoPro has let up today. So John carried on. So we're with John. Introduce yourself, John.
All right. I'm John Dickhout. Not a whole lot else to say, I suppose, but I am coming up on almost 3 years of post-transplant. And I guess my best introduction is how I met Matt. I was a few days post-transplant when I heard this character out in the hall chatting with my wife at the time, and she came in and asked if this guy could come in and say hello. I said, of course. So he came and we had a bit of a chat and found out that Matt was in there for, I believe it was this roughly 2-year anniversary checkup or whatever, and he was making the rounds, and he became a lot of inspiration for me, because you're still in those early days of the wonder of, it's really a strange thing, but when the concept of transplant before you have it is so scary, and it's until you meet people that have been through it that a lot of that fear goes away. So even in the early days post-transplant, I was thinking about, rejection and blah, 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 and you just don't know what to expect. So here's this guy who's healthy as heck and visiting me and having a great chat, and 2 years post, and it just gave me another thing to grab onto that was a light, not that the whole thing wasn't a light at the end of the tunnel, it was all light, but this was a big shining star that gave me something to strive toward. I said, well, boy, oh boy, that guy's doing that well, I'm going to do just as well, and so it was really helpful.
So when you, and I think that's important for, as I was fooling around with the GoPro, trying to get the GoPro video to work, and I've made a little bit of room here, but how was it having a shower before transplant?
Oh, yeah.
And then how was it afterwards? Because I don't think a lot of people, watch how I say that, people who haven't been transplanted, people that are coming into transplant, I think that's the key in a lot of cases, is trying to get that point across.
Yeah.
This is where you are now. This is where we hope for you to be after.
Yeah. So, and we were just sharing this story before we turned on the mic here. It was there are times post-transplant as you progress along where you have these aha moments, and it's such an overwhelming experience, especially in the early days, but I still have them, where you'll catch yourself doing something that was almost impossible pre-transplant, because we forget how sick we really are when you start to get better. And I know for those who may be listening that are maybe pre-transplant or early days post-transplant, when you're that sick, you can't visualize yourself being healthy again, and you forget what you were like when you were healthy, and so you just I remember thinking about things. I'll never be able to eat a hamburger. I'll never be able to. Well, the big ones were, I didn't know if I'd be able to lift grandchildren if I ever had any, or even be around to see my daughter's married and stuff. So those are the really big ones, but there's all these little ones that when you start to recover that are such huge moments. And if you're a spiritual person, you'd call it a spiritual moment, I suppose, but for me it's this I don't know, it's like this. I used the word star before, but it is this bright light of hope and gratitude and all that. But the example I was sharing was with Matt a minute ago was, I was in the shower one day, and it was probably a month or so post transplant, and we had to get somewhere or do something or whatever. Or we were having company or something, because I didn't go out much in those early days. I stayed inside and didn't talk to people for fear of germs. But anyway, I was taking a shower and I'm washing my hair and just like anybody would. And I stopped and started to laugh and cry, and because pre-transplant, I couldn't have done that. I couldn't do it. I had to sit down on the edge of the tub halfway through because I couldn't stand long enough to take a shower. I was just too tired, and to wash my hair was a huge effort. My arms would ache with fatigue, and so when all this stuff starts coming back, and you catch yourself, wait a minute, I haven't been able to do this for 3 years or whatever, and all of a sudden it's like, and now I'm right back to where I was before anything ever happened, and continued to get better and better. Another story, I remember one day, I was pretty aggressive about wanting to get back and healthy and do everything the doctors said plus. So when I got home, I was walking all the time, walking around the house. And we had a flight of stairs in our home. And so I started walking up and down the stairs every day. And I was in for my second week, I think, biopsy. 2 or 3 weeks post-transplant anyway. Must have been 3 weeks. And I think it was Dr. Daly asked me if I was exercising. And I said, yeah, I'm walking around the house. And he's, I actually set my alarm, and every hour I'd get up and do a couple laps around the house because I wanted to be as routine as possible. And so I told him I was doing that, and then I said, and we're just up and down the stairs. He said, oh, that's great. How much are you doing that? And I said, 12 or 15 times a day.
Nice.
And he said, what?
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
And then another story, a couple weeks after that, so it would have been a good month or so post-transplant, and Lynn was upstairs, and I was doing my usual routine, and then it's better when Lynn tells this story because she heard this thump, 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 and she thought I'd fallen down the stairs, and she comes out of the bedroom, and I'm at the top of the stairs because I had just run up them.
Oh, nice. Love it.
Like 2 at a time or whatever.
Yeah.
So
feels good, eh? When you get to do that.
God, it's like it feels so good here talking about it right now.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy how good it is when you're getting everything back. And not everybody's the same, and there's lots of people have bumps in the road, but boy, oh boy, stay positive and keep at it, and it's pretty miraculous stuff.
Yeah, I think I have a lot of contact with a lot of different transplant patients, and I've spoke with some stateside. You introduced me to a young fellow.
Oh, yeah.
I've done a little bit of talking with him, but I don't get a lot of feedback from him. We all have our walls that we need to climb coming into transplant, and I never had the appreciation before of what a hurdle that can be for some of us. Like some of us, it's
oh yeah, and the thing is, it depends on where you start, but to me, attitude is everything, and whatever attitude you choose, that's the path you're gonna head down.
Agreed.
And it's hard for people that maybe have a bit of negativity in their lives or whatever. It's hard for them to get out of that, and so they accentuate the bad stuff. And remember, I think that time we met the first time, you told me about being at the biopsies and like just having to get out of there sometimes. And it wasn't until I'd experienced it a couple times, and it was the same thing. Like I was about to lose my mind because people are complaining about the traffic driving in and blah, blah, blah. And I just wanted to scream at them and say, are you kidding me? Yeah. It's a miracle that we're sitting here talking about this. That's great. And it's a privilege to drive in that traffic so I can be here and go through this. Yeah. And you know what? It's a pain in the neck, literally. But it's like...
Especially who does the biopsy.
Yeah, that's right. We won't share with any.
No, we'll keep that to ourselves.
But I thought, I almost wanted to say to somebody once, you know what? I bet you the family of the person whose heart you're carrying right now would not want to hear you bitching about this right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Get your attitude in place. Yeah. Get positive, get better, and you know, and it's not easy. There's going to be, because some people have some real big hurdles, no question. I honestly believe the better your attitude, the better you'll get through it. You know, and yeah.
One of I can bring her name up, but I'm not gonna. One of the transplant patients that I know very, very well, she has CMV, and it's just constantly knocking her.
Yeah.
Constantly, and she has a constant chemo drip. She has all sorts of stuff. And you know what's funny about? She says to me the other day when we were talking, she says, geez, you know, I can just hardly wait to get on the treadmill. And this is her response. And then when you go into the biopsy room, and in some cases, you know, you hear this stuff and you're thinking, you know, and then there's this lady who has yet probably to go a month feeling even remotely normal.
Right.
And she says, if I can get back on the treadmill, then I can get the kidney transplant.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing, right?
Yep.
Attitude.
Oh boy.
Is everything.
I completely agree.
Now, you have a bit of a different story here, though.
Do I?
You are one of the unique people that I've ever
right.
spoken with who actually knows your donor family.
Yep.
And this is amazing to me. I've done a little bit of background. I've looked at your donor and a little bit with the family.
Yep.
Sort of thing when you and I first talked about it. But please share.
Yes. I mean, there's tons of pieces to the story, but I guess, you know, how it came about, there's a lot of luck involved, and it was fortunate that we both the families had similar philosophies about things, about life and people and communication and all that sort of stuff, which made it helpful. But so basically what happened was I was extraordinarily grateful, as I think all of us are, for the transplant recipients. But I